episode 21, Rhymer on the Road. That is Ann. I am Scott. We are thankful that you're following along with us on this journey. We are inside of Yellowstone National Park as we speak. Holy moly, we cannot wait to share all of that. Remember, it's a two-part for Yellowstone, so there'll be a second Yellowstone video that will have an episode 22. We announced last episode that we're headed to Grand Tetons after this, so if you've got feedback for Yellowstone or Grand Tetons, drop them in the comments. But we also want to get ahead of it and where we're headed next, and that is...
Right, so after Grand Tetons, we're heading to Rocky Mountain National Park, staying in Estes Park.
Awesome, and we've both been to Colorado. We've both been to the Rockies, but not in Rocky Mountain National Park.
Not the national park, not in Estes Park. So yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Yep, so we need a lot of feedback on that. If you have it, make sure you share it in all of the different ways. Also, if you want to get ahead of these episodes, you need to go to Rhymer on the Road on Instagram, right?
Right. I've been posting some stuff about our trip so far in Yellowstone. So yes, go check out Rhymer on the Road on Instagram.
There you go. That's all you need for that. So let's get right to it. It's episode 21, part 1 of Yellowstone National Park. Okay, we are in Harden,
Montana.
Harden, Montana.
About 30 minutes or so outside of Billings, Montana.
Okay, this is just a one-night stay here.
Right.
We get here, we undo and do all that kind of stuff and get set up, and then I just want to start relaxing. And you decide you're going to go shopping.
Oh yeah. Well, we've been passing all these ranches. I mean, we're out in the middle of Montana, and we pass through Wyoming a little bit, and mostly in South Dakota. There's a lot of ranches. And so you see all these cows and stuff. And so I was just searching to see what was here in the town, and several local, like, I guess ranchers have stores in Harden. And so I chose to go to S Ranch Meats. The cattle, Montana born and raised.
Okay.
And they said they are grass-fed and grain finished. I don't know exactly what that means, but mainly grass-fed. And so I thought, you know what? Let's go. I'm going to go get some meats. And so they had.
Well, I recognize that.
Yeah, I got some flank steak.
Okay.
We got some stewed meat, beef. Yep.
When it gets cold up in Yellowstone,
that's right.
That's going to be good.
Right.
Yep.
I got 2 sirloin steaks, and then I got some ground beef.
Just regular ground beef.
Yep.
We'll make burgers or whatever out of that.
That's right.
Okay.
Right. We can I can, or maybe some vegetable beef stew or something. I don't know.
And all of it's frozen, so we're going to put it in the freezer, correct? Okay.
Yes.
And again, we can travel. We have power on our refrigerator when we travel, so we can have our freezer going. We're not having to worry about coolers and all that kind of stuff.
It's fun to support local.
Yep.
You know, local farmers, ranchers, and I'm all about that.
Can't argue with that. And by the way, this RV place we're at, which is the KOA here in Harden, they bring in their own water. Yeah. They said to be careful and conservative with water because they bring it in.
Yeah.
I'm still going to take a shower. I'll take a quick one, but I'm still going to take one.
I'm going to take a shower. We paid for water.
Okay, well, our first full day in Yellowstone National Park. We're doing the west side first. And let me begin by saying this park is huge. We stayed in West Yellowstone, which is 30 minutes from the entrance to Yellowstone. And then once you get in Yellowstone, really to most of the big things, there's another 30 minutes to an hour and sometimes more, depends on what you're doing. So you got a plan to drive. And our first day we went from the Madison area to Mammoth Hot Springs. That would be the northwest sector of Yellowstone National Park. A couple of great stops along the way. Of course, the main destination being Mammoth Springs. The first, Gibbons Falls. This is an 84-foot waterfall. So easy to get to. You just park and there it is. Although, pro tip, The parking lot doesn't have the best view. It's better for you to kind of walk back a little bit down the road from where you came, and that's some of the better views of Gibbons Falls. The next stop was Barrel Springs. This guy is a little bit unique even from all the geysers and springs we saw because it's loud. This thing sounds like a jet engine and it's right by the road. If there were no traffic, you wouldn't even have to get out of your car and you could hear this. But it does have a little boardwalk area where you can hear it. It's really, really cool stop along the way. The next stop was Norris Geyser Basin, and this is a really key stop, I think, along the way. And unfortunately, Ann and I couldn't go together because we had Leo with us on this trip, and of course, there's no dogs with Yellowstone. But there's all kind of walks here, boardwalks. There's, I think, a loop, and if you go all the way around, you could do it. But you can hit a lot of things quickly, or you can spend a lot of time looking at a lot of different kinds of springs and geological formations.
Yes, it was sort of a loop. There was a little museum there. It was great overlooks. Like, I did not do the entire loop. It almost looked like there was sort of an upper loop and a lower loop, and I just went up there and kind of did an overview. I think I went to an overlook of one of them, and then I walked part of the other one.
In my mind, I thought all of the geothermal stuff was down near Old Faithful, and that's in the southwest part of Yellowstone. But the northwest part of Yellowstone has a lot as well. So after leaving Norris Geyser Basin, we continue to head north, and you go through this area on the road called the Golden Gate, which is this scenic drive that kind of winds you through some of the mountain areas before you get into Mammoth Hot Springs. And it's beautiful. Little white knuckle, you gotta hold on to the wheel tight on a couple of those turns, but some great views there. And then you're in Mammoth Hot Springs, and they have an upper terrace and a lower terrace, and these are must-dos if you're in Yellowstone. On the upper terrace, which Ann and I took the car, and it's a 1.5 mile loop, I believe, that gets you all kinds of unique stuff. I mean, there were orange things. The colors were crazy up whites. There. Yeah, a lot of white as well. And you could just drive if you wanted to and see a lot of cool things. And we got out a couple of times. They had some pull-offs and some parking lots, and we were able to see even more than that. I thought the drive on the upper terrace was 2 thumbs up.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, I love the drives. I love the things that get you in there without having to do all the hiking. So it's kind of nice just to drive through it, pop out from the parking spots, and check out a few places a little closer up. But it was, 2 thumbs up.
The lower terraces, we didn't do the walk of that. They have some boardwalks there, very easily accessible. They had the parking lots there, kind of towards the bottom near the town of Mammoth Hot Springs. So I would definitely encourage you to do that if you want. But we felt like we got a good taste of what it was from the upper terrace, so we didn't go to the lower terrace. We did hang around a little bit in Mammoth Hot Springs. We went into the visitor center. What we failed to do was to go to the Roosevelt Arch, which would have been just a few miles from where we were. And I don't know why it didn't register to me to go there, but it didn't, and we missed that.
Yeah. We saw on the map Tower Roosevelt.
Yep.
And I think both of us were thinking, oh, that's where the arch is.
I would say this drive-in, we're going to have analysis of each of the 4 that we go to. To me, this was really a cool drive because I just didn't understand until we did it the diversity of the geological formations that we were going to see. It was really a cool drive. Again, a long one from Madison up to Mammoth Springs and back down, and then all the way back out to West Yellowstone. We were 4.5, 5 hours into our day, weren't we?
It might have been longer than that, but I didn't clock it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was not 6 hours. By the time we, stopped at all the little pullovers, did the short hikes, traded off with Leo so that we could each go see things. It probably was more like 6 hours.
And that's going to be Yellowstone. And you're going to see that as we theme through all of this. Firehole Falls is a 40-foot waterfall visible from a pullout along the drive. Easily accessible and worth a stop. The Grand Prismatic Spring is located in the Midway Geyser Basin of Yellowstone National Park. As the largest hot spring in the United States, it is renowned for its vibrant rainbow-like rings of color. We took the hike, which was about a mile, not very difficult, that had a little overlook over top of this incredible prismatic spring. The brighter the day and the sun, the more vibrant the colors. And while we had a little bit of cloud cover on the day we went, the colors were still spectacular. But I can only imagine what they are like with a perfectly clear sky.
All right, so our time at the Upper Geyser Basin, where Old Faithful is in Yellowstone National Park. I think that might have been one of my favorite areas. And of course, it's the most well-known. You got the Old Faithful Geyser, which of course we got to see. Totally worth it, but since it's very predictable, it's an easy one to do. And of course, you can either look on the National Park app for expected eruption times, or once you get to the area, go to the visitor center and they'll have it posted as well, along with some other ones, other expected eruptions for geysers. And so we got there, and that was our first thing we did. Old Faithful was about to erupt within, I think, 30 minutes or so, and so we went there and got a seat. It was actually 10 minutes late, so not quite as on time and not quite as faithful for us, but it was spectacular. And then we just kind of walked around the rest of the upper basin, and it's got some really unique geysers and pools, clear, super clear, some blue. And of course there's the river that goes through it, through the basin. And so that just makes it, I don't know, very scenic. And then while we were there, there was an announcement that Beehive Geyser was about to go off. And of course that one is not as predictable. And so that was sort of a bonus. We got to see Beehive go off, which was also another spectacular one. And of course we saw lots of numerous little ones go off. I can't even name all of them. And the one that was the most exciting, the one that you need to plan for, and if you have the time is worth doing, is Grand Geyser. And I will have to give a little shout out to my friend David Dill. He had a former professor, Malcolm Manor, who had this great write-up. And I will say we didn't use it a ton for all the other areas of the park, but we definitely used it for the Upper Geyser Basin, and especially for Grand Geyser. So it's one of those things that they'll put out a expected eruption time, but it could be an hour and a half before or an hour and a half after. So that's a 3-hour window that this could possibly happen. And for us, we decided it was worth waiting. And so we got there one morning at 9:45 in the morning. Well, actually got there a little earlier, but 9:45 is when the window opened. And so we plopped down. We were the only ones there for a while. So while we were sitting there, we got to see other geysers going off as well. There was a smaller one, I can't remember the name of it, but then there's another one that's pretty consistent every, I think, 18 to 22 minutes, turbine geyser, which is also one that you got to watch for when you know when Grand Geyser is going to go off. And then Grand Geyser at about 12 o'clock. So we'd been sitting there for, what, 2 hours, 15 minutes, went off.
Yes.
There it goes.
Yes, come on up. Yes, 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 come on.
Oh yeah, looks like Jaws out there, moving through the water.
It's a good sign.
Come on, I've never seen
Waves on Grand, waves on Grand.
Whoa! Good girl. Whoa. We're gonna get covered in
Mushroom cloud I've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
Almost 7 minutes.
That was awesome. And it was exciting because you saw the marker, you saw it kind of bubble up a little bit, and then all of a sudden it took off. And it lasted, the first eruption lasted for about 10 minutes. So super exciting. But the key to it is sometimes you get a bonus eruption. And we lucked out, sure enough, it stopped, but not all the water went out. And then within, gosh, probably 5-10 seconds, another eruption.
Thank you.
Did you get that on video?
Not while it was bubbling, but when it got
So
out.
I think it ended up lasting for maybe 4 or 5 minutes. But it ended up being totally worth the wait for us. Now, not everybody's going to have the time to sit around and wait. We did, luckily. And it was a highlight for us, I think, of the area.
Only thing I would add to that would be, I think if you are time crunched and all you can do is Old Faithful, that's what everybody wants to do. The lodge was awesome though. To walk through the lodge area and the gift shops and all is really worth the time. And then also, and you mentioned this earlier, but I think it's worth noting again, there's so much to do in this area to walk to other than just Old Faithful. And
But it's a large area.
It's a large area.
Be prepared for lots of walking.
Lots of walking, but it's you see so many different things. So I would say the biggest advice I would give is A, yes, go see Old Faithful, but B, try to spend a half day or even 3/4 of a day there, and you're going to see a lot of great things, and you may get to see Grand Geyser erupt. It's definitely worth it, in addition to seeing Old Faithful, which is everybody wants to do.
Right, and then get there and like I said, go to the visitor center and check that. They got like maybe 6 of them that I think are pretty predictable that they'll list, and you might be able to sort of plan out your afternoon, your morning, and there's plenty of parking there, by the way. Several restaurants and stuff that you can get some food at. Lots of restrooms.
All right, There you go. Episode 21, part 1 of Yellowstone National Park. And I hope the video does justice to how amazing this park is. Remember, there'll be a part 2 coming up that we hit even more amazing things. Yellowstone just continues and continues and continues to give. One thing that we didn't really touch on much in part 1, but I think is very important for people to know, this is a very large park. And in a figure 8, we've done the west side here in part 1, but even on the west side itself, this is a park I think you have to do some planning, because if you don't do that, you can waste a lot of time, because it takes a long time to get from point A to point B sometimes.
It does, yeah. And I will say that I'll give a shout out to the Guide Along app again, because it has actually it helped us sort of plan our time. But he just entertains you and gives you lots of information about pull-offs and little scenic drives that I don't think we would have known about. So it helped. He kind of helped plan the trip for us.
And I think you also have to take the attitude that you can't do everything. And we even said that,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah. There's been some places that we decided, all right, we just don't have time to do that, so we're not.
Yeah, and you got to be at peace with that. You can't do everything. You can't make every hike. You can't go to every overlook that you hear about and read about. You just got to maximize your time. But I definitely think planning is a big part of it, at least what we've experienced. And we're planners anyway, but I think there's been some things we've done in this trip that you didn't really need to plan as much as we did. We over-planned maybe. Yeah. This one, I think our planning was spot on, because we got to do in part 1 everything we wanted to do, and we had a little bit of time to spare just so we didn't overdo ourselves.
We did, yeah.
Let's talk a bit about where we stayed, because I think that's important when you're talking about the park. Now, in part 2, we are inside of Yellowstone. We'll get to that in episode 22. But for episode 21, which was the west side of Yellowstone, we based out of a little bit north of West Yellowstone, right?
Right. It was Yellowstone Holiday RV Park, I think, which I'll have to admit, I think it was my favorite campsite that we've had during the trip. It was just beautiful. It was on a lake, had the mountains in the background. I loved it.
Yeah, we saw the bear swimming through the water right behind us in the campground. It was huge sites where we were. I reserved it very early, which I've done for most of our campgrounds. And I think if I were to go back to that, I would definitely try to get one of the lake vistas, because that was just awesome. Keep in mind, though, while this was a very convenient campground to the west entrance, there were others probably in that area, but they can't be better than the one that we stayed at, or at least not the site we stayed at. We were still 30 minutes from West Yellowstone, the city, or the town.
I think it was more 20 minutes. Okay. 20 minutes to the town, maybe another 5 minutes to the entrance.
But once you get in the entrance to Yellowstone National Park, before you hit your first major...
before you hit the loop.
The Grand Loop, I think is what it's called. And most major junction, I think they call the junctions, which are very well laid out. We'll talk about that maybe in episode 22. That's still another 20 or 30 minutes. So,
but beautiful scenery.
Yes,
beautiful scenery on the way. We saw some animals. There's lots of pullouts. There's a river that runs right through it. It's not Yellowstone River. I can't remember the name of the river, but it's beautiful. And so it's not a wasted drive by any means. And we saw different things each time we drove through that area.
Yep. And there's even one little side road that runs right by the river that we were able to kind of mix it up a little bit one time, which was kind of good. But I guess the point of that is the west entrance from where we stayed, it takes a little while to get to some of the things.
But I think that's the case with any entrance that you stay on, any of these towns that are not within Yellowstone.
So that is a wrap of episode 21. If you thought you've seen everything in Yellowstone, I can promise you have not seen everything in Yellowstone. Wait till episode 22. It'll drop in a couple of days, and we look forward to sharing that with you. Again, we're looking for feedback on Yellowstone still. I mean, we still have time for that. Grand Tetons and Rocky Mountain National Park.
Right.
And mentioned Reimer on the Road on Instagram. Follow that. You've had a great time so far in Yellowstone, right?
I think it's been one of my favorites so far.
Yeah, I'm going to be hard-pressed to disagree with you. Yeah. So there you go. We'll catch you up on the entirety of Yellowstone in episode 22 coming up very soon. For now, though, that's it. It's Reimer on the Road. Ann and Scott, Do it today.